So we got to pick up some parts for the Audi. We just get like some valve covers and stuff. So, hey.
Hey man, what's going on?
Stefan.
Tim.
Nice to meet you, Tim.
How you doing?
Good, good, good. So did you get those valve covers for us?
Yeah, the ones you got at all this stuff. You ordered?
Yeah.
I got them right over here.
He's got them over here. I'll grab those and get back to the Audi and.
How's that Audi going?
It's coming.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be awesome.
We got it running, so that's good.
This will shine her up for you.
Yeah, clean her up. All right, perfect. Thanks.
All right, thanks, man. Have a good afternoon.
Yeah, see you later.
I'm out of here.
Yeah, all right.
See ya.
All right, let's have a little look around. Just put these down over here. Those look kind of cool. Aaron, can you get the door? We'll just need some parts. You know, they're fine with it. They said just dig it.
Hey man, those are valve covers.
All right, see you later. Shouldn't have put us near the booth. Yeah, go ahead.
All the headers just open. All right, we have the privilege of working in the Holley film studio with Jeremy, and we're gonna try something that you've never done before.
Well, I've never had an Audi in here before, and I've never had an all-wheel drive vehicle.
So what we ran into is our water lines are in the way of our fan belt routing. So we're gonna take your relocation kit, put the alternator down low. We're gonna take your bracket and see if we can put a tension on it.
Yeah. Sounds good to me. Let's
All right,
keep going.
Here we go. Still having issues bleeding the clutch, so we're just eliminating this hose right off the bat just to make sure that we were squeezing it.
Could be collapsed inside.
Could be collapsed. Let's just replace it and then go from there, because I'm pretty confident on the way the release bearing's set up inside. I'm basically just trying to look on the outside. So we got to get this done. If I tell you everything, you'll never figure it out for yourself.
Yeah, but we'll quicker.
This hose is going to be amazing because it's longer.
That was we did that at like the 5th hour kind of thing.
Yeah.
That was the last
We have a lot of 5th hours. I don't think that we have a 4th hour. We just start at like the 5th hour.
What we're doing is I got the accessory kit. So this is the one side, your power steering pump goes up here and your alternator comes down here. I'm just putting it all together, throwing the alternator in, and we're gonna throw it on the car just to see where it sits, because we're trying to mount the idler like Rich was saying. So it's gonna be in this area probably somewhere. Oh, look at you. Do you want me to
Give me some fluid.
Here, let me go wiggle the fluid pedal.
Yeah, because it's not doing anything for my fluid here. I'm at 20.
Oh.
It was a pretty severe vacuum, 24. Seals look good. Try again, but I think it was just the seal right here was a little cockeyed. So then as we were trying to pull vacuum, we're just pulling vacuum through the hose.
Yeah.
That looks better. It's fitting nicer.
Got it? Got your finger in there?
Yep.
You just need to push on this.
And put a tensioner right here.
And if you can push on that. Well, even from the outside though, right? If you
An external one?
Bracket.
Yeah, we need a bracket somehow to here. That would be.
Well, you've got 2 points here. You've got a cylinder head point and an engine block point.
Ian jealous. He's our welder at home.
No, I don't think that's gonna.
So the alternator goes here, and we're just fabbing up a bracket coming down so we can put our tensioner. And this is awesome because we didn't have to do any of it.
Yep.
And it's better than I would do anyway.
So we need to first find the center line in relationship to everything, and then we'll have to clock it and then make our reference points for our location holes.
You always just use a shorter belt or whatever if it gets too close.
Yeah, but we're talking
get-
like quarter-inch
Right.
belts.
We got to make sure that this clears good.
Yeah, left it mark. Cut it, bend it, and then out toward, and then out to the outer edge of this. Just about through.
Yeah, it's tight, but that's good. Or we do 90s, just humor me. Let's take the belt on.
Yeah, you definitely get more wrap on it.
Yeah. And that's like almost all the way around,
I mean,
right?
that's getting every pulley
Yeah,
3/4 of the way.
yeah. It's probably the better setup. So we'll
Sucks
put
having to
90s on.
change that out.
Yeah. We had the car running for a good 10 minutes and just snapping the throttle and listening to it, and it never got past 150.
So it was cool and decent.
It was cool and really decent, just sitting there idling by itself, right? So we're just about done mounting the bracket and adding the tensioner for it. So the alternator, luckily the main cable is a proper length, so we're just lengthening the trigger wire for the alternator. Stefan's working on the throttle cable. We are almost there.
One problem we're running into is they're out of stock of the mounting bracket for the throttle cable, and we have a wonky one anyway. So I'm just getting this lined up, and I'm grabbing a piece of aluminum, and we're going to either bolt it onto the side here or TIG it right on and have it so we can have an adjustable, so this guy's just sit right here. So I'm just looking at the angles and stuff and trying to figure something out that'll work. And I found this piece of flat bar, and we're just going to drill and put a slot in it so I can slip the throttle cable in on top. That'll sit in, and we can still adjust it. Now, before everybody says you're using the wrong disc, it's the only disc we have, so I'm using the right disc. But don't tell me what you really think.
That's pretty good for making that with a toothpick. That's a nice shiv.
Yeah.
Almost there. Yeah. So I think as it is right now, you can like jam it into gear, but it's not gonna sound pretty. One boost control solenoid will do both wastegates. So we're gonna use the other boost control solenoids to control the wastegates at the back for the twin turbos. So that works out pretty good actually. But for now we're just teeing it into it so we can do the boost control for the immediate future. Once we get it home and on the dyno, I'll pull the skid plate right off. Yeah, fuel efficient. That's economy mode.
This is economy mode. So the bracket I built is complete garbage, and this is why. When I put it on, I didn't realize that this is such a big cam on it, and it just hits it right away. So, a quarter throttle car.
So that's economy mode. That's for the Newfoundland Targa at some point driving between tracks. Yeah. But anyway, we got our bracket made. Jeremy did an amazing job doing that. So now we needed to find a belt.
Yeah.
And we couldn't find a belt in town.
I scavenged the O'Reilly's Advanced Auto or whatever. We'll have to just order one and it'll fit perfectly.
Got the wrong 90-degree fitting. So our belt, the way it roots, is actually all the way around. We're happy with that, but these get in the way. So we need to change them, and we did not get Holley in time, so that was our fault. But
That's not a big deal. What we did do is make a bracket. We clocked the blow-off valve and resealed that. We installed the O2 sensor at the back. We fixed the clutch. We've got clutch now, sort of it. I don't think we got enough travel yet, but we do have clutch.
Maybe we'll just order an aftermarket one or something.
Yeah, so we're thinking
still
like
figuring that one out.
Yeah, so I think we just need like a Willwood with more travel to push on.
Yeah, or a bigger cylinder or something, just move more fluid.
Yeah, but now we ran out of time and Holly's giving us a boot, so the guy wants to go home.
I don't have to squeeze out this time. No flips over the hood.
Okay, so we're back from LS Fest. We have a belt on it. We've got water in it, but we still have a clutch issue.
Still have a clutch issue.
So we've got some help, and we're just gonna quickly pull this engine, right?
Yeah, it'd be easy, you know.
So I think we'll drive it in one
Looks like
last.
it's ready to fall out anyway. There's no front end on it, there's no water, there's no radiator in the front. This would be a cakewalk.
Easy peasy. We got our belt, which is a 59 inch. If I'm watching this video later and I forget what size it is, it's a 59 inch 6-rib belt. And this hose, we don't like how close it gets to the pulley. So we are getting 90 fittings for this, just because the water was flowing good, no heating issues. And I had to remake the little bracket for the throttle pedal. That'll do for now. We have full throttle now. Which is fantastic. I like the throttle, but we do not have full clutch. For some reason, it's just not enough to push the clutch pedal in. So we got this Willwood kit. It is a 3/4 inch, and a pretty neat kit actually. You can pop this cap off. Let me just see here. Anyway, this cap pops off, and then it comes with a hose even to connect it to this one, which will either pop into this one or this one, whatever you think is necessary. Comes with adapter fittings for the end to do a bubble flare or double flare, whatever your heart desires, and comes with a bleed screw too. So we'll see if we can mount that, and that will be the last thing that kept us from driving this thing. Okay, here's the 2 cylinders, the new one and the old one. You can see it's a little bigger all the way around, but the bore actually isn't a whole lot different, but it does have a longer stroke, so that should be just enough to disengage the clutch, hopefully. The rod was a bit longer, so I cut the threads back and cut the tip off. And this is gold. Looks like it's gold, but so it makes you think that it's grade 8, but it's actually almost as soft as Richard Rawlings' hands. So we're gonna take the eye. It's already in the vise, the clevis on the end, and we'll make it bigger. We'll make it thread a 5/16 fine thread in there so it's adjustable, and then make these holes bigger and throw it in. So here we go.
Dude, stop,
What?
walk away,
What?
walk away.
What?
There you go. It looks like it's already at its full travel.
Right, so there's a spring that pushes it out.
That looks like it's at full travel. to
Yeah,
me.
so that Audi pushes the release bearing against your fingers all the time. So that bearing's meant to spin all the
Yeah.
time.
But maybe,
Probably at
is
7,000
that too much
RPM too.
tension to kind of dick around with
No,
stuff?
because then that'd mean it would slip all the time.
Yeah,
Not the
yeah,
that'd be the total opposite problem to what you're having.
Yeah.
We're still having issues with the clutch. It's not going into first gear nice. So it's pretty easy to yank the motor out of this thing, as you can see from the time lapse. And we're just looking at the clutch plate. Because we modified it in here, because we couldn't put that tab that normally holds the twin discs, he's thinking that it could be just binding in here, twisting a little bit. So we're gonna pull it apart, have a look.
It actually looks like it's twisted there.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
we're gonna pull it out and have a quick inspection. Well, I'm thinking if we whack it back on and put those pegs in without the discs in it, we can test, see how smoothly it moves. But honestly, I think it's binding up.
Right.
Because if you have a look at them, the holes aren't perfectly in the middle of those pegs.
Oh no. Did he do that so he could twist it and adjust it?
Surely not. I think that's just when it was machined, it was
It was
just
just
not
sloppy.
perfectly centered. That's what I reckon you need to take.
Cause yeah, you can put these on a cam.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like they
That's
could have
crazy.
rolled around big time.
Yeah. And if they are able to twist it
Because I think
all,
what's happened is he's machined it, and then for whatever reason taken the material out of the lathe and put it back in and drilled it with like repositioning it in the chuck, and that means you can sometimes get off-center holes
yeah.
depending on how accurate or how flogged your lathe
Yeah,
is.
no, that I never
But
noticed
that one
that
definitely
before.
looks like it's
oh
not
yeah,
centered.
oh 100%.
And I reckon that's where your binding up is.
Yeah.
And then what's happening is you're not getting released. That
Yeah,
center plate's not
and,
releasing.
and I always suspected it was the middle plate. I took a little bit more off of my ears,
Yeah.
just so that it would move
I reckon
a
if
little
anything,
bit.
you just need to knock some off that OD.
Yeah.
Just clearancing them a little bit.
I found a problem.
This guy. I think it should be able to move.
Yeah, it should be able to
It
move.
should freely slide.
So we're probably only even riding on one clutch disc.
Yeah, that's probably why it's cooked. Because see, the other thing, most twin plates don't actually have that wing bit. All the Australian ones are just a post, like a sticking out bit.
Yeah. So I didn't want it to be able to,
Float around,
yeah, that way, because there's nothing stopping it from
falling
from going one way, right? And it vibrate
Yeah.
like crazy, and so I wanted it to stick out past the dowels,
Yeah,
just
true.
a hair.
Yeah, so I'd probably just take off
Yeah.
half a mil off each one of those pegs.
Yeah, that's hard to do in the lathe with it being that small, right? I want to try and get it straight. We got to get the engine in. The Audi has to be the open house tomorrow with an engine in it.
Just make it seam already. Just drop it in with no clutch on it.
So these are the bushings that go on either side of our intermediate plate, and we even noticed that the holes aren't centered in the bushing itself. So because the plate might be jamming up in there and getting sideways, we're just going to take about 25 thou off, or as much as we need to get rid of this cam lobe, and then the plate will bang around a little bit and make some noise, but honestly the car makes so much noise we probably never hear it. We're going to jam these into a bolt like this and just tighten them down. That centers the bushings on the bolt. We'll chuck the bolt in the lathe. We've got our centering pin, and we'll just take about 20 thou off. You want to file over it, a little bit of sandpaper at the end, it's smooth as shit.
exactly like mine.
There, you can start putting these ones in.
That's a good start. This wants to fall out, that's good.
Now rotate it, put it in all three different spots, just because. Yep.
Engineering sorted.
The machinist who made these clutch centers is the same machinist who made each one of these a different length and made the holes eccentric in the bore. So it was just a bad day maybe, or?
This must have been a rush, I think, because that's
Yeah.
amazingly well machined.
Yep.
And this looks like I did it with a drill.
And that's exactly, I think, what
Looks like
happened.
I made
It's
that
like,
with a cordless drill and a file.
this was the last thing that he made for me,
Yeah.
was welding this out, and this was, I guarantee this was like a 3 in the morning job.
Yeah, yeah.
So, but anyway, it doesn't
well,
matter, we
job
all
done.
make those mistakes, and now we learn. So, thanks, Benny.
Bit of second opinion and get it sorted. Alright, we're kind of in the ballpark now.
It's in gear with the foot on the clutch? Yay!
Yeah. It works right now.
Thanks, bro.
Job done.
Job done.
Thanks, Brad.
Benny, I could give you a hug, man. Like, this is like...
Yeah. Good job, Benny.
Diagnose. Success.
We got the clutch. Stefan.
You can hear the rattle now.
Aww.
Your back is really sweaty.
That's good job, Benny. You're the man.
Good job, bro.
For all the shit you talk, you sure work hard.
The fact that it moves forward and backwards is pretty good.
Like,
You can hear the clutch rattle now.
Yeah?
Yeah, as soon as I heard that, I'm like, we're sweet. Because when you can't hear that and it's a floating center, it means that the center's locked up somewhere.
Yeah.
So that was it.
Oh, man.
That was it from the beginning.
What was it? The spices.
The
Those
spacers.
tubes, the tolerance was too tight on the intermediate plate. So basically just the second it moved like 1 mil off plane, it just bound up on the posts, and that's what actually bent that.
So when we were...
These guys made it, yes.
Yeah.
Steel, they were just custom. And they were cammed as well. They weren't even
Yeah, that was
they
the
weren't
other
even
thing too. I
centered.
made, the holes weren't actually in the center of the post.
How's that go? Like that?
Here's a new addition.
Yeah, there we go. That's going on the channel, by the way. Fire up the Quattro! I'm not gonna put that. Just don't be retarded.
I won't be retarded.
Just take it down. GoPro's on that door.
Yeah. It was staring right at me. It will, like, as soon as you hit 45 on the road, yeah. Yeah. 166, we're not even up to temperature yet.
Are you first?
I'm still first.
There you go. Just clutch drop it. Clutch works. Clutch going? Still gotta do a little tuning, testing and tuning.